Hello everyone and welcome back to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe. Today we're looking at something that I've been waiting on for a very, very long time. It's the G.I. Joe Super 7 Ultimates line Wave 1. I pre-ordered these bad boys July 15th, 2021. So you could say that I have been waiting for quite a while, and I am hopeful that the final product was worth the wait, and we're going to find that out together. I've not opened these yet at all. I just got them in, and so I thought we'd just go through it together real quickly. So we'll start with the outside packaging. Obviously I bought the whole wave, so they came like this in the packaging. Each box has got the name of the character inside, the G.I. Joe logo, some fine print inside. Okay, nothing big there, but it is nice that they're all labeled outside. If you're a truly unopened collector and you like to leave them sealed, in the box. That's not me, so let's take a look at what the actual packaging looks like. All right, and there we go. I have to admit, the packaging for these is not, doesn't really speak to me. There's no, we've got very generic, here's our G.I. Joe, here's our Cobra. They've got a logo that states which character's in the box, and that's pretty much it. Which actually kind of works to my benefit because I really wanted to open these, but oftentimes when I pay a high price point per figure, I am hesitant to open them because I've paid so much money for it. I'm just weird like that. So this makes it easier because I don't really feel compelled to keep this packaging at all. You can look, it's got kind of a shiny, nothing major, but a bit of a reflective gloss to it. The logo is stamped on the back if you look at it there. Some fine text there, a CBR01, some kind of like text. I don't know if they all look like that. Oh, it's just the name of whoever's inside it. This one says B.A.T, this one says CBR for Cobra Commander. So nothing major there. These slide open. Oh, this is so exciting actually. Here's the Cobra Commander. We'll take him out of the box here in just a second and look at him. Sorry, the light is being kind of odd. But you can see that, he's got all his basic packaging. Let's go ahead and open everybody else up and take a look at him too. Here's the Cobra B.A.T, which I know a lot of people were very excited about right up until the classified one was announced, which was cheaper and therefore a little bit more. There's Snake Eyes. That timber is huge. I'm very interested in seeing that. And lastly, here's Duke. All right, so again, whoa, there we go. So the packaging on the back is actually a little bit nicer than the others. Looks like they've made an attempt at doing a sort of, not exactly a file card, I would say, but a little bit more of a actual like bio. As a matter of fact, it looks quite specifically like a file card. And then you've got some cartoon imagery down here because obviously these are cartoon-based figures. And that's pretty much it. So let's clear these guys out and we'll take a look at them one by one. I knew these figures were supposed to be bigger when I ordered them, but really until you see them in hand, it's kind of stunning how much larger they are than a regular classified figure. We'll do some size comparisons at the end of this video just so you can really get a feel for it, but I was taken aback kind of right off the bat with how much larger this figure is than how I imagined it. Pretty standard. I mean, like, here's, you've got your boot cut articulation right here. Goes left and right as well as up and down. We've got a cut right here at the ankle, or sorry, at the shin. Up and down. We've got a firm lock there. Not exactly as far back as you might like that to be, but still some maneuverability there. I did not do a hot soak on these because I just don't like doing that, but these joints are definitely firm, which I guess is the preference. You've got the old cut here in the middle for back and forth articulation, looking up, looking down. Let's see if we can. All right, we've got a wrist articulation right here. We've got articulation here at the bicep. And we've got our elbow bend, which is pretty normal, 90 degrees. Same on this side. And then we have the head mold itself, which has full 360 and pops right off our other heads. So, pretty standard figure. There's my cat. Don't steal my stuff, cat. Let's look at everything else that Duke comes with. Duke has 2 additional heads that are included. First is Duke on a like a headset. So I guess if he had a Sky Striker or he's flying in or radioing somebody, you could do that there. Duke comes with 2 additional heads. We've got one right here that has the like headset communicator on it. so he can, I guess, radio in for reinforcements, or maybe if he was in a plane or at the HQ. He's got another face that's angry because he lost his headset communicator. Looks like he's yelling a little bit. There we go. Looks like he's yelling. Pretty standard head swap. Let's see how difficult it is to swap the head on this guy. Not at all. That popped right off like it was no problem. And popped right back on. It's a very loose fit, but still firm enough to kind of go on there and hang on tight. I mean, I can put him upside down. So 2 additional heads. I'm going to put him back on his original because that's probably how I will display him. He also comes with his classic green helmet, which is a snug fit like so. Duke comes with all the original accessories that the B1 Duke would have come with, his gun, his backpack, etc. I don't really think this is how I would display my Duke, just because, I don't know, the blonde hair is such a defining characteristic, but it's nice that it was included regardless. Other accessories included with Duke are his classic backpack, which now is no longer there's no stud in the back any longer, I guess to make it more clean. It actually has straps, so he can wear it like a normal person would wear a backpack. And he also has his classic green gun, which we'll swap out in a second and see how it fits. He's got a cartoon accurate laser rifle, which is a nice touch that we didn't get with the original Duke. And lastly, we have his binoculars, which is another accessory from B1 Duke. So all in all, a pretty good little haul of stuff. Let me suit him up, see how he looks all together. Alright, so this is probably how I will display the Duke. I've got his original gun, I put his binoculars on, he's wearing his backpack. One other little thing to note that I didn't realize until I was doing it, but when I changed that hand out, you can see that he actually has like a little wristwatch there. And it's a separate piece. It's not carved onto either one of those, neither the hand or the wrist. It just fell off. So luckily I caught it and was able to put it back on. He holds his gun really well, so I'm happy about that. And the articulation in the handle allows him to do quite a bit with it, actually. Forward, backwards, etc. So yeah, pretty cool. These like border on almost like statue quality, I would say. Like, I don't know if you guys remember those diamond PVC ones that they used to sell at GameStop. Don't move, obviously, but they're kind of like a cheap investor point. Let's move on to the next character in the line and see how he looks. Next up is the Cobra B.A.T. This figure rules right out of the box. As soon as I opened it up, I was immediately like, holy smokes. Something about the like flat, silver on it is just really award-winning. Really, really pulls me in. He's got the clear faceplate here where his machinery is. I mean, he looks just like a V1 B.A.T, except he's got the red faceplate, which is more reminiscent of the cartoon, obviously, which is what we're going for. Same articulation as Duke, so I'm not going to go into that too much. He's got the same, limited knee break here, same thing here, and head bends all the way around, pops off pretty easily. So, nothing too of major note there. He's got a holster for his pistol, which we'll get to in just a second. He's got grenades that are non-removable. It's a faithful version of the V1, B.A.T. It looks tremendous, quite frankly. They do have holes on the pegs of their foot. I guess they're future-proofing it in case down the line they build a diorama, or even, I can't imagine, but a vehicle. These figures are so big, a vehicle would be ginormous. Let's look at what else B.A.T comes with. First off, we've got one alternate head as opposed to Duke's 2. This is the damaged head. It's got like sparks coming out of it. It looks like it does in the cartoon. He's got an exposed like brain plate piece here where the fabric has been blasted off of his head. It's very cool. It's definitely one of the more appealing things about this figure that you don't get with any of the others. Just like Duke, the B.A.T comes with multiple interchangeable parts. Putting the accessories parts of it aside, you've got 2 sets, 4 hands, closed fist holding the gun, closed fist holding the gun, and then on the B.A.T itself you've got kind of this like menacing grip, if you didn't see it before, where he's kind of like, I don't know, he could be holding a globe if you were Cobra Commander, just kind of a grip for any casual thing, or maybe even like a zombie, like gonna get you type deal. Pretty cool. I'll probably change that out to one of the attachments, which is what we're going to look at now. These are the classic V1 B.A.T attachments that came with it. It's, we've got a you know, the grabby claw. Got I think this is supposed to be a laser. And then he has the drill. Big fan of the drill and the laser as a kid. Didn't use the grabby claw a whole lot. Didn't make sense to send him into battle with that, in my opinion. We've got a spare damage effect, which looks like it probably goes on his chest plate, just in case he gets shot with Duke's gun. This is a gun that's reminiscent of the gun that the Bats carry in the actual cartoon. It doesn't really, he didn't come with a gun like this, if I'm remembering correctly, but in the cartoon they are always armed up with stuff like this. So nice, cool little thing that's included. And then he's got a removable pistol that goes in the holster. The actual V1 Bat did not have a removable pistol. It was molded on, so now you have a little bit extra. We've got the backpack for storing all accessories and extra hands. No, again, no peg, so it just kind of like pops on to his shoulders, it looks like, with these two, with these two silver pieces right here, which we'll put on in just a second. And then we've got a random sparking. Looks like if he's missing his arm altogether, you can put this into place. And lastly, we have the arm itself. So if his socket is empty, this is where his hand is. It could be crawling along the floor, trying to grab a G.I. Joe's foot. Something we've seen often. All right, let's gear him up and see what he looks like all together. All right, so this is what I ended up going with. I left this hand the same because I like it just as it is. I changed this hand so it could hold its gun, and I am going with the cartoon accurate gun because obviously that's what they are going for. You can see that the backpack attaches here and here on the top and has a spot for all his regular attachments. And the only last thing that I noticed before we move on is that when I put his gun in his holster, it actually has a little flap right here that clips into place, which I think was a nice little touch. This figure is a 10 for me. This figure really knocks it out of the park. If the other ones are as good as this, then I think we're in good shape. All right, let's move on to the next one. It's so weird seeing this version of Snake Eyes. This is like the purple suit and the flesh hands. It's it is a tremendously good, maybe the best cartoon representation of Snake Eyes I've ever seen. It's just always weird to me to see him like this. He's got his pouches on the front. He's got his pouches on the side. He's got his like little human hands. He's wearing his little crazy little suit. He looks like the Phantom a little bit in this color scheme. Again, articulation, all the same. These are all the same. You got the 90-degree cut here. You've got articulation in the boot, hands, knees, etc. Nothing major. I mean, they didn't really go above and beyond with this, but it gets the job done. Snake Eyes comes with, I would say, slightly less accessories, and that's probably because he has a timber. We have 2, 4, 6, 3 sets of hands, 6 hands total. And it is basically the same as everybody else. Trigger finger for the gun. There's fist cuffs for ninja action. And then this is like I don't know if you would call this a thumbs up or a big gulp hand, but it has a hand that's a little bit more maneuver, I guess, for holding objects that aren't guns, essentially, is what that one is for. Snake Eyes comes with a jetpack, which he wore in the cartoon briefly, not something that he wore regularly. This is something I probably will not use, or I will give it to another character down the line. Even in the cartoon, I don't envision my Snake Eyes as wearing this very often. I assume that's supposed to be the jump, or it's supposed to resemble the jump based on the timeline of the cartoon and the comic and the toys. It comes with a little walkie-talkie that matches Duke's. It's dialed into, I think that's 8.02 or just 802, which matches the number on Duke's as well. So they can, I was going to say so they can talk to each other, but I'm not really sure what Snake Eyes, why does Snake Eyes even have a radio? I guess for Morse code. He comes with this little pistol. It's kind of like Flash Gordon-y looking. I'm sure this is a specific nod to one of the early cartoons. I don't recognize it right off the top of my head. If you know what this gun is from, please leave a comment and let me know what episode it's from so I can look it up and check it out. He comes with the same laser gun that Duke had, which is nice. And he has a toxic barrel. This is the isotope that he steals from Cobra that makes him radiated, and that a bizarre Indian shaman guy has to come and cure him. So I will probably not put hardly any of this stuff on the Snake Eyes. I just like my Snake Eyes to be clean and ready for action. This timber seems like it's made out of different plastic. It's a slightly cheaper build, quite frankly, but I guess for as far as accessories go, that's to be expected. We've got a little bit of a wiggle back and forth and no give up and down, despite the fact that there's a second articulated piece right here. Very minimal maneuverability here. The arms go about this far forward, and they go out a little bit more, but they go about that far back. You still get your basic pose in, and then they bend kind of in the middle there. Paw also has some minimal articulation. I know that's hard to see, but you can spin that paw around. I don't know why you would spin it all the way around, but it can be done. Back legs are worse. Back leg has a bend right here, so you can see it goes all the way back kind of where his tail is at. Does not go any further forward than that, so very limited. Doesn't go like these go in and out. This does not. It's a strict back and forth, so very limited what you can do with that. The tail does go all the way around like this, so it can wag all day long. Definitely a step back. I mean, I get that he is an accessory and it was the same cost, but if you're a diehard timber enthusiast, you might feel a little lackluster about this. See what it looks like when it's posed in a little bit, but yeah, there's a little bit to be desired with him. I'm not going to pose Snake Eyes in like a final formation because I really don't think I'm going to give him hardly any of these accessories. I think he looks fine just the way he is. I might even cheat and give him a sword. What do you think about that? Last one. The main man himself, Cobra Commander. All right, so this figure's got a lot going on. Obviously, the basic form of the Cobra Commander is, it is what it is. Everybody knows what the faceplate Cobra Commander looks like. His head is real wiggly. Like, they've all kind of got really easily removable heads. Same articulation. I'm not just going to bore you with the same details. Legs here, bicep, arm, twisting hands, etc., etc. This is a really good-looking figure. They've really nailed the color scheme on all of these figures, in my opinion. It can be hard to tell based on the lighting, but the Duke, the Snake Eyes, this Cobra Commander are all like the perfect color match, in my opinion, based on the cartoon, which had to be an exhaustive amount of work. Cobra Commander comes with probably more accessories than any other figure in this line, maybe with the B.A.T being a close second. I'm going to whittle down some of the less interesting stuff first, and then we'll look at some of the bigger stuff. Cobra Commander has multiple sets of hands. We've got holding a gun, making a fist. This has a peg in it, which I'm assuming is to hold something like one of the accessories that we'll see in a minute. That's something that the other ones did not have. Sorry, it's focusing in on my hand specifically. Yeah, there's like a little peg right there, which is neat. Here's a finger like wagging, like, oh, Destro, how come you aren't in this wave? And there's another fist. There's an open-faced hand. He's got more hand options than anybody, which actually makes sense when you think about it because he's probably the most dramatic figure in the line. So those will be fun to mess around with. He's got this huge sniper rifle gun. I remember when this was announced that somebody was pointing out what episode this was from, but it was a real deep cut, and I don't remember it off the top of my head. Not the kind of thing that you would normally expect to see Cobra Commander with. He also has this cute little like Cobra pistol that has the Cobra logo on it. Again, I don't know what this is from. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch some of the cartoons. I really do know a lot of the details about it, but this stuff is so specific. There's there we go. It got like a transmuter gun. That's what it makes me think of, and I'm basing that on the fact that on the back side of it, it's got like a little animal, like a dog or something. I know that's hard to see. Maybe from the episode where he zaps Junkyard and turns him against Mutt. It's the only thing that I can think of right off the top of my head. He's also got binoculars, which I've seen him use in the cartoon before with the Cobra logo on them. More like a viewfinder from Star Wars, as opposed to Duke's very traditional military style. He's got an alternate head. Oh, sorry, there's another gun. Here's another gun. This one is actually a lot more traditional that I'm used to seeing him with. It's kind of his OG classic. He has an alternate head. Its only variation is that it doesn't have the silver stripe at the top, which diehard fans know is where he keeps the C4 explosive, in case somebody tries to remove it involuntarily. Just personal preference there. Interesting that this is silver. I remember it being blue in a lot of the cartoons, but it might have been a running change and I just can't keep up with it. Easy fix, man. Really does go in and out without much of a problem. I'll probably put him back on the other one. I like the old silver stripe quite a bit. He comes with a serpent staff, which we've also seen many times before, kind of as for, you know, bossing people around. He likes to have a little cane. Well, it's not really a cane. It's more just like a, I don't know, like a baton that he waves at people. He's got a small explosive bomb or like a little detonator. Looks a lot like the bomb from the G.I. Joe movie opening that they have to go and save. Has the Cobra logo on it, one gigantic silver button that you press to make things explode. Pretty straightforward. And then he's got this is probably the accessory that I'm the most excited about. It's got the globe with the serpent coiled around it. We've certainly seen this in the early, you know, single-digit comic books. I can think of at least 2 times where it's been displayed. If his hand will hold it, then awesome. And then lastly, he has this awesome cape, which is posable. This really makes him look a lot more like the Cobra Commander of the animated movie, because I'm always thinking about how he looks in that. I don't know how these connect unless they are magnetic, or do they go all the way around? I guess it just does. It has to be magnetic, right? I'm no Mr. Wizard, but there has to be something there keeping it on. It has the little like things inside it that allow you to kind of like put some flair on it, like so you can kind of pose it, and it'll, with limitations, hold that pose, you know, pretty regularly. It might be on me that I don't have this. I'll have to look and see how these are supposed to go. Maybe there's a very specific spot. He has 2 little metal pieces right here. I mean, not truly metal, but they look like they could be markers. Or maybe you're just not supposed to put that much weight on it. I don't know. Regardless, it's one of the only times I can think of, first of all, only time I can think of with a cape that's actually got some pliability to it, which I like a lot. And secondly, it's the only time I've seen something that makes him reminiscent of the animated movie, which I'm a big fan of course. So there we have it. There's our 4 figures from Wave 1 Ultimates. Let's skip over to the desk and we'll take a look at some size comparisons so you can really see how big these bad boys are. I think there's really only one true comparison that needs to take place, and this is how they scale with the classified figures. You can see that he's basically head and shoulders above this Outback. We've got him clocking in at almost exactly 7 inches tall. Outback is probably 6 1/4. So, yeah, definitely not compatible with that line. And honestly, if you look at the like color palette alone, it really sets them aside. The molding on classified figures is, as it is intended to be, much more realistic, whereas the Super 7 Ultimates line it truly is cartoon accurate. Like, it's just about the most accurate cartoon figure I've ever seen them do, and I love it. I don't love that the scale is inaccurate with every single thing else out there, but as far as the quality of the figure goes, I think they're great. I think the highlights of this line are definitely that B.A.T and that Cobra Commander, but you know, everybody's got a different favorite or something else that they're looking for, so you know, there's something out there for everybody. Even if you just wanted to maybe pick up one and use it, it kind of looks like, I don't know, like a little, not a statue, but just sort of like something to have to play around with. I could totally see that. Do I think these are worth the price? Well, that's a trickier question, isn't it? For, you know, these retail at almost $49.99 a piece, which is just a absolutely ghastly price to ask for an action figure, in my opinion. So I don't know. I have to think about it some more. My gut says yes. I am very pleased with these. We tested them, and I put them through the ringer as much as I normally do, and nothing broke. So the quality control issues that I'd been hearing rumors about don't seem to be true, and I think the overall look of them is great. I think a big part of this line's success will come down to the figures that they choose to make. For example, I know Wave 3 has a Doc in it, and I'm very excited about that, more so than just about any of these guys. I mean, how many times have I seen a Duke, a Snake Eyes, a Cobra Commander? You know, hundreds and hundreds of times. But a Doc is not something we get to see every day. And so that's something that Super 7 excels at, is they basically were like, we're only working on the cartoon, and God bless them, they really took that to heart. You know, they've got the just some crazy deep cuts making Quinn. They made, we talked about the guy earlier that saves Snake Eyes, the like shaman dude that helps him, and they made a Super 7 of that. That's crazy. If they do the same thing to the Ultimates line, I think it has a great chance of success. It would be hard for me to pass up getting like a Quinn, in this scale, or even a Hondaloo, you know what I mean? Like, it's just some of the crazy, more obscure characters. But in the meantime, as far as these figures go, I mean, yes, I am looking forward to the other wave. My understanding is that the next two waves will not be, you know, it won't take a year and a half to get to me. And that's good, because I will need a little bit of time to save up some money for them. But, I mean, yes, my ultimate final review is that these are good. They are worth it. I understand if you're hesitant to pull the trigger on the price point, and especially if you're like, not another scale, especially with this week's news that, you know, they showed another Hiya Toys Cobra Commander that is like kind of the modern 4-inch scale, but that's a conversation for another time. Anyway, I hope this has been useful, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this line. Just leave us a comment or drop us a line at anythingjoespod@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to talking to you again next time.